Welcome to the Leadership Kit.
Do you think he looks like Justin Timberlake? Like that's what he's going for?
So I've been checking out this new book called Church Boy to Millionaire. We talked about it a couple of videos ago in our series about multiplication, and it was written by a guy named Doug Wood.
Now look at that cover. I know what you're thinking. But my wife Amy actually had the opportunity to meet him recently on his book tour, and she said him and his family are down to earth and wonderful, great people. And the things that are in this book are spot on. I would strongly recommend you guys check it out. Also, check out my brother's sweet shirt. I tried to tell him 4th of July was last week, but he's been wearing these crazy American flag shirts.
I have this one hat that's pretty sweet.
every day. He's going all in. God bless you. And America.
And America. We hope you guys had a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. We hope you have all your digits. In chapter 23 in this book, he talks about hype and hopium. He talks about it's like the conference life. He's been to a lot of conferences. We've been to a lot of conferences. We know exactly what that's like. You go in, it's super high energy. They remind you that you have a dream. They remind you to keep dreaming big, to work towards this huge goal, that you can do it. And they tell you all this you can do it stuff. And a lot of the times they don't actually give you practical daily steps that you can take, things that you can implement in your routines to help you achieve goals.
Not all conferences.
Right. And even the ones that are really built on hype and hopium, like he calls it, they have a lot of really great stuff that you should be able to retain and use in your daily routines. But there's a big problem with people that put on these events and don't give you as much meat as they're giving you hype.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting you high on the hope that, I can do this. I can lose this weight, or I can make this money, or I can save my marriage. But if you don't have the steps and the tools to take home with you to actually make the changes needed, you're never going to get there. A lot of these conferences will lead with this strong vision of you can make change, you can take steps, you can reach these goals, but they leave you lacking in tools. Now, it's not to say conferences are bad. I attend a lot of conferences each year that are really great, and I learn a lot of new stuff, a lot of old stuff I relearn, I get encouraged, I make connections with people, I find a lot of value in them. However, there are a lot of people who just try to sell you on hype. They lead with the vision, but then they have no meat to follow it up. And as a leader, it's your responsibility to make sure that you back it up. If you're going to cast vision for a big dream for your organization or a dream for someone else's life, like I see you being successful, give them some tools to help make it happen. Set them up for success. Lead them in the right direction. It's not just about getting people hyped up and excited. Anyone can get someone hyped up and excited. But if you're not willing to have follow through and guide them through that process, it's really a lot like having a lack of integrity.
7 days after the conference, most people have lost the hype. They've lost that drive. And sometimes they even get more demotivated than they ever were because they felt like they were going somewhere great, and now they just feel like they failed.
The hype only takes you so far. It's not going to carry you to great heights. It's just going to give you a kick in the rear. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't have a road to travel on once you stand up, you're not going anywhere.
I think there's a couple ways that you can take the emotion and form it into reality. One thing that I think is such a great idea is that he talks about is before you even leave, while you're still in that zone where you're really pumped up, create a strategy. It's important to take notes when you're at these conferences. It's important to write down the things that are practical, to write down the things that you would miss.
It doesn't matter how much you think you're going to remember it. I can't tell you the number of times I said, oh man, that's so good. I'm never going to forget that. And 5 minutes later, I'm asking my wife, what did he just say? I got to remember this. Like, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. So write it down, even if you think you got it.
So then before you leave, before you get on the plane to head home, before you unpack your bags, whatever it is, make sure you come up with an actual game plan. What are we going to do week to week, every single week, to make sure that we're implementing what we learned at this conference? Even conferences that are mostly hype have something great almost always that you can use, that you should be using. Find those 1 or 2 things that you can implement into your routines and make sure you write it down. These are the goals we want to meet, and these are how we're going to meet them. Another thing to take away from this is just like the 7-day lull. Once you hit 7 days and you've kind of forgotten all the hype, your people also go through those similar lulls. We speak vision and we share vision all the time. Within 21 days of casting vision, people tend to start losing sight of their purpose. A perfect example is people that may serve in like kids or babies areas during church.
They go into kids serving knowing that their whole purpose is to give the kids a safe place where they can be and they can play. And if they're old enough, they can learn about Jesus, whatever the case may be. And ultimately, the parent or parents get to go into service and they don't have to worry about their kids. For some of these parents, it's the only day of the week, the only time of the week where they have a moment to themselves, where they're not either working or parenting. They know that their role is huge in the life of the church and in the life of the parent. They're that parent's personal hero that week. 3 weeks later, after the last time they heard that, all they know is they're changing diapers. And they've forgotten all about the importance and the purpose of what they're actually doing. And they lose sight of the big picture. So you have to constantly be reiterating that vision. And on top of that, like, you can't just tell someone the vision. In the process, at some point, you have to teach them how to share the vision and be a vision carrier. Because if you can teach them how to take the vision and then repeat it to someone else, then every time they say it, they're reminding themselves as well.
The event can give motivation, but the process gives growth. So what you do after the event, build a process that actually pushes you into growth, that pushes you into your next goals, the goals that they reminded you that you were able to have, the goals that they reminded you to dream big about. Now it's up to you to build something towards actually achieving those goals.
Yeah, take advantage of it as a momentum starter. We all know how hard it is to start building momentum, but once the ball gets rolling, you just keep giving it a push and you're going to go far. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to check out Church Boy to Millionaire by Doug Wood. Just for the record, we're not sponsors. My wife actually paid for this book, and we've all read it and we love it.